Bienvenidos. Estas son las noticias más destacadas de la OEA. Esto es OEA News, el informativo de la Organización de los Estados Americanos. Es momento de compartir los títulos de las noticias más importantes que vamos a estar brindando a ustedes. Evento Poner fin a la violencia contra las mujeres facilitada por la tecnología. Laura Gil recibió la mención de honor Juan José Nieto Gil. El secretario general de la OEA se reunió con el presidente de Ucrania. Estudio de evaluación de resultados del Sistema Nacional de Facilitadores Judiciales Comunitarios. El secretario general de la OEA, Albert Ramdin, participó en el evento paralelo de las Naciones Unidas, coorganizado por el Consejo de Europa y ONU Mujeres, sobre una responsabilidad multisectorial para poner fin a la violencia contra las mujeres facilitada por la tecnología, daños reales, soluciones reales.
It's great to be here. New York Week, the UN Week is always quite challenging in terms of movements, and I'm still very happy that I can participate in this meeting. Madam Minister and other distinguished guests, thank you very much for the opportunity for the Organization of American States to say a few words about the topic you're discussing. It has been a topic which is coming across in every single meeting over the past couple of days, but also when I was in Chile recently, where Chile is taking really a leading role on addressing these issues, and I think this is an example which we should certainly look at. I want to also say that the reason I'm happy to be here is because of the collaboration between different agencies. Our Inter-American Commission on Women, on a very old body, but a very active body, is very much engaged within the inter-American system, with different countries, provided assistance, benefits from the experiences in the countries, as well as working with external partners like the Council of Europe and many others. So we do have an active engagement when it comes to women in general, and the rights and their position in society. And based on that, we have been able to improve in terms of legislation in the regular sphere, as well as in terms of capacity building, strengthening their empowerment, basically. So in that sense, the organization is very committed, one of our strong entities. I want to also say, much more as a general remark, that this whole issue about the new age which we live in, with information flowing fluidly but independently and often anonymously, is a challenge in general. Okay, it's not only women, but in general, we know what the internet, but social media now even more. And when AI enters into the public domain as a regular good, it will become even worse. So if there is one issue that we need to address is, and this has to do with values and norms and how we look at society as a whole, that rethinking needs to take place. It's a mindset change which will need to be taken place at some point, because this is a new dimension of how we organize ourselves and how we present ourselves as individuals. So the regular values which we have learned over the years at home and in school and other important organizations, religious organizations, they don't really cater for the new age. Just one example: being able to bully a child or spread hate speech can be done unanimously, and nobody knows from where it comes, why, but it has an impact. It has an enormous impact on individuals. It has an enormous impact on communities, but also on families. So it's not impacting only on the direct communication which was addressed, but a broader range. So these are new elements, and I think we should expect that governments and our legislative powers And it's not going to be easy because they are ahead of the curve in terms of dealing with these issues. Those who are abusing the internet and social media. But government and legislature will have to create legislation, mechanics, procedures, institutions, a new set of rules and regulations for this new segment in our society. And I think a lot of assistance is needed. I'm very pleased that the private sector, who is basically developing these tools, which have very positive impact as well. Let me be clear about that. But it has a negative. So, but I'm very happy that the private sector companies have been engaging in this discussion. I think it's also to their own benefit. So that's great. With regard to specifically the topic at hand to women in terms of the treatment and the impact on women, I see it as an extension, as a continuation of the false assumptions which are made in society in a different form expressed, but it is the same assumption that women are not equal or are to be treated different or excluded, and so on. And that is something which we need to realize very much, that unless we change our value set, these things will not change. We must engage in that kind of mindset change, that this is not only right, but it needs to be addressed. So these false values which create or which facilitate, together with technology, hate speech against women, bullying, and all kinds of other worse treatments, is something which we need to address. That's why we in the OES will always look at how do we address these issues in a fundamental way, not artificially. Because it's often easy to say we're going to have legislation in place and we deal with it. No, it is deeper than that. Nurturing new sets of values in our societies will be required, because we don't want to legislate everything. Also not for other kinds of crimes. I consider this a crime to treat people like that. But it is a new element of how we look at crime and how it needs to be treated by the judicial officers. So nurturing, developing a new set of values, teaching our children in school what it means. I think we can do much more on that as well. Will be necessary. Of course, we will need to keep monitoring this and keep engaging in a whole of society approach, not only simply women, but all others. And I think the private sector, civil society, religious organizations, education institutions, governments, and everybody else need to be engaged. If everybody else starts saying this is not acceptable as a norm, it will have an impact. If we can punish socially those who are committing these crimes, then it will help. We don't need legislation for everything, but we need a framework how to address these issues. I'm happy that you address this issue and that we can benefit from your output, your conclusions, and take it further. Certainly the OES count us as a partner in this process. Thank you very much for having me.
La secretaria general adjunta de la OEA, Laura Gil, recibió con enorme emoción y gratitud la mención de honor Juan José Nieto Gil en el grado Antonia López, otorgada por la Comisión Legal Afrocolombiana del Congreso de la República. Este reconocimiento me inspira y me compromete aún más a seguir trabajando desde la OEA por la inclusión, la igualdad y la defensa de los derechos de las comunidades afrodescendientes, raizales y palenqueras de nuestro hemisferio. Mi compromiso es claro: abrir caminos, derribar barreras y garantizar que sus voces sean escuchadas en cada espacio de decisión, dijo Laura Gil. El secretario general de la Organización de los Estados Americanos, Albert Ramdin, se reunió con el presidente de Ucrania, Volodymyr Zelensky. El mandatario le agradeció el apoyo a Ucrania y a su pueblo. También valoró la disposición de la OEA a seguir apoyándolos y trabajar juntos para lograr una paz verdadera. Estudio de evaluación de resultados del Sistema Nacional de Facilitadores Judiciales Comunitarios.
El estudio descriptivo sobre la implementación y condición actual del Sistema Nacional de Facilitadores Judiciales Comunitarios, desarrollado por el órgano judicial, con la colaboración de la Universidad de Panamá y bajo el auspicio de la Organización de Estados Americanos, OEA, fue presentado oficialmente, demostrando los importantes avances que ha tenido este programa para mejorar el acceso a la justicia en comunidades apartadas.
El estudio que hoy presentamos demuestra cómo en el distrito de Olá este sistema ha sido un instrumento disruptivo y transformador. Gracias a la labor de sus facilitadores, hemos visto un impacto directo en la reducción de conflictos, el fortalecimiento de la paz social y el acercamiento efectivo de los servicios judiciales a las comunidades más apartadas.
El salvadoreño Juan Carlos Roncal, coordinador del Programa Internacional de Facilitadores Judiciales de la OEA, se refirió al estudio.
Este estudio fue conceptualizado y diseñado con el fin de poder identificar el impacto y los resultados obtenidos mediante la ejecución de este proyecto en favor de las comunidades, y se suma a otros estudios que hemos realizado anteriormente en El Salvador y Costa Rica.
Los facilitadores judiciales comunitarios, actores principales de esta presentación, también hablaron del programa.
Mi experiencia como facilitadora ha sido muy bonita y muy importante porque a través de la formación que hemos recibido de parte del órgano judicial, con los jueces en diferentes temas, la misma la hemos podido transmitir, llevar a nuestras comunidades para mejorar la convivencia y promoviendo una cultura de paz en nuestras comunidades.
Por su parte, la magistrada Miriam Yadira Chen Rosas, coordinadora ante el Pleno de la Corte Suprema de Justicia del Programa de Facilitadores Judiciales Comunitarios, valoró el impacto que estos ciudadanos tienen en sus comunidades.
El impacto positivo y éxito de la implementación del sistema en el distrito de Olá ha quedado demostrado con este informe y nos plantea el reto de llevar este ejercicio a otras regiones para evaluar el verdadero alcance del cambio que su puesta en marcha ha provocado en la sociedad.
En la presentación del estudio también se desarrolló el panel Bondades y experiencias del Sistema Nacional de Facilitadores Judiciales Comunitarios y se abrió la muestra fotográfica Rostros de la Comunidad, Construyendo Paz y Justicia.
Estas han sido las noticias más relevantes de la OEA, la Organización de los Estados Americanos. Esto ha sido OEA News. Nos reencontramos en la próxima jornada.